Today I'm going to show you some Dollar Tree DIYs for fall. I hope you enjoy.
I'm gonna be myself, or I could be someone else. No one's stopping me now.
So I'm using this Dollar Tree sign for the first DIY, and you can use whatever you have on hand to create this sign. So what I'm going to do is use my khaki chocolate, I don't think it's chocolate, it's just khaki paint that I picked up from Michael's on clearance, and I'm really loving that beigey nude color, so I've been using it a lot lately, and I'm going to just give it about 1 to 2 coats. Dollar Tree sells this 100 pack of skewers that I really like, and also these pieces are from a Dollar Tree game. I think it's called Backgammon if I'm not mistaken, and it is in the toy section. What I like is that these little pieces I just showed you are wood, so I'm going to grab these small little square pieces to create this sign, and I'm also going to use the real skinny skewers to make the sign as well. I'm just going to cut them a little bit different in sizes and line them up on the sign. I ended up with 6 of the skewers for the sign. Now I'm going to hot glue them down, and I also added the wooden squares so I can see how far I need to space out the skewers. What I'm going to spell is fall is in the air, and I just searched that up on Pinterest, and I thought that was a cute little saying to add to this, but you can write out whatever you want. I try to think of an easy way to get some letters on here, and what I came up with was to just spell out whatever you want with your pencil and then go over it with a Sharpie. So obviously there are many options. You can also use some word transfers from Dollar Tree or letter transfers. They have some sticker letters there as well. If you can't find any from there, you can definitely find some at Walmart or any craft store. Another option would be if you have a Cricut, you can also use that too. So I thought it would be cute to add a couple of leaves on here on some extra squares that I have. As you can see, I have one at the top, and then I'm just doing the second one right here with my pencil and then going over it with the Sharpie. So once I finished that, I glued all of the letters on, and then once I sat it to start, set it on my fireplace to start taking pictures, I thought it made it look kind of cheap looking, so I ended up just taking them off. But that's another option. If you want to go more detailed with it, you can do something different, maybe with a brown color instead of black. The options are endless of what you could add to the sign. I also added some raffia in the holes at the top in case I wanted to hang this up. I just used a dark green and then the regular colored raffia. For the next DIY, I have a placemat from Dollar Tree. You can pick up any one you want. I was actually going to pick up a piece of poster from Dollar Tree to use for this part of the DIY, but I figured this was a way better option because it's actually plastic and you don't have to worry about it getting wet because it will clean up very well compared to a poster. A poster would just get ruined. I'm also going to use a piece of foam board. For the placemat, I'm going to go over it one time with my mineral chalk paint, and that's just to give it kind of a rustic look a little bit, and I'm using a bristled brush so you can see the streaks from the brush. So I'm just going to go over that one time. The piece of foam board is approximately 20 by 11 inches, so it's pretty big. And the piece of placemat, I am actually going to create sort of a cone with it, just like this. I'm just trying to figure out how I'm going to do that. I'm going to move that to the side, and I'm going to paint my foam board with some antique wax and a little bit of water, just depending how dark you want the background of this. My last video, I created a bunch of signs with foam board to make it look like wood, and so that's why I'm not going to go into too much detail on how to do that right here. So if you want to see that, I will link it below and right here at the top, just to give you a little more in detail of how I'm going to create the look of real wood on here. You can check out that video. Before creating the cone with my placemat, I'm going to cut it down just a little bit. You could leave it just like this, but what I'm going to do is add a little bit of detail by just finding the center first and cutting a little bit off of the top. And you'll see how I do that right now. And then I will create the cone and use hot glue to hold the cone in place. So now that I have that shaped, I'm going to glue this onto my faux wood piece. And then off to the side, you see those burlap leaves. They come in a pack at Dollar Tree, and so does the Give Thanks word that comes in a pack of like 5 or 6 of different like fall words. So I'm going to add the burlap leaf to my cone and the word on top of that. And then I'm going to add a couple of stems that you'll see in a second. The 2 stems that I added inside of this are from Dollar General last year. So I have it just sitting here to take my pictures, but you can definitely hang this up with some command strips. For DIY number 3, I have 3 6x8 canvases, and I am actually going to make a little basket slash crate, I guess you could call it. I saw something similar and I just wanted to recreate it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave the canvas on one of the frames, and then the other 2 I'm going to remove everything from the canvas, including the staples. A lot of times these canvases, you can't remove the corner staples because then the frame of it, the wooden frame, will just fall apart. So you don't have to remove the corner staples. So this is where I should have waited to glue all the frames together to create that crate basket look, because I'm going to decorate the 2 empty frames. And I should have decorated first and then glued it together, because you'll see why in a minute. So this part's really simple. All I'm going to do is basically create a trellis look on the 2 empty frames, and I'm just using raffia for that and hot glue. So this part is easy. It's just, it does take a little bit of time because I need to hold it in place. And since I'm telling you the mistake I made, you'll know if you decide to make this to do this part first and then glue the frames together. This is how I want it to look. I already have the top frame done, so I'm just finishing up the bottom part, and what I had to do was just basically stick it in between the frames, and I was able to do it a little bit easier like that. I was able to complete it. So I wanted to give it like a trellis type look. You could also use those skinny skewers, the 100 pack of skewers that I used earlier, and that would also look nice, and you can paint it too. I wanted to keep it this color. So, you know, that's all up to you. I am, however, going to use the skewers on the sides. I'm going to basically just create an X just to finish off the look of it.
she comes, the woman that I love. It's too bad she'll never know. Yeah, I can't tell her how I feel.
At the end of this, I decided to add pieces of Dollar Tree burlap to cover up the staple areas. That way it just looks more finished, and then we can decorate it.
Cause I hope that I'm not showing how I feel for her.
What I did was add raffia inside with a few pumpkins and 2 pumpkin picks.
In my mind, it's just the two of us, just the two of us. But I know
For the next DIY, I'm going to stain 32 tumbling tower blocks with my antique wax.
because you won't be mine.
While those are drying, I'm going to use these Dollar Tree window clings, and I'm actually not going to use all of them, just some of them. And they have so many, so you can pick which ones you want to create a DIY like this. So I have some glue sticks, and I'm going to use some more foam board. I was about to get tongue twisted. Okay, this part's really easy. All I'm going to do is take off or remove the ones that I want, add my glue stick, and apply it to the foam board. I didn't even tell you what I'm making, but what I am doing is making a little ladder with some wording on it, and I actually was inspired by something I saw at Michael's. Maybe once I'm done, you might know what I'm talking about, and it's gonna look so cute. It comes out really cute. So what I do is once I have all the words on there, everything I want on my foam board, I'm going to use my little crafting blade. They sell these at Dollar Tree in a pack. So it comes with like 6 blades, and they work really well. I've been using them for the past like 2 videos, and I really like the way they work.
But I have to try as hard as I can. Cause you'll never be mine. I listen when she talks, I watch her when she walks. She's giving me these feelings that I've never felt before. She will never know that I love her so.
I have my home word cut out already with my blade. So now I'm going to just score it first all the way around, and then I will push all the way through. And that is just the easiest way that I find to cut foam board. And so the sides look a little smoother. I'm taking my Dollar Tree sanding block and just sanding down the edges. To create the ladder, I am doing 16 blocks just like this on one side and 16 on the other side. I'm going to take my ruler from Dollar Tree, and that's going to help me straighten the blocks out so they are as straight as possible, and I will hot glue these together. Then I cut out some 1-inch thick pieces of foam board, about 10 inches in length, and that's gonna create my ladder. I did the same thing earlier and just stained them with my antique wax. So to do this part, I'm spacing them out about 10¼ inches from each other, and then I will hot glue down the strips. So this is actually the back side, and you'll see me at first glue them down the wrong way like this, and I end up realizing that and I turn them around. So this is the back side. But what I'm also going to do is add my words with the foam board in between here, so that way I make sure that everything fits, and it does. You can also see I have my phone right there because I already had kind of placed everything together to see how much to space everything apart, and I wanted to kind of have that as a template for myself. Remember I said this is the back side, so now I'm going to turn it over. Then I'm going to add my words where they're going to go. And so the whole reason why I decided to use foam board for the ladder and the center instead of using more tumbling tower blocks is because I'm actually going to use toothpicks to attach the words right there. So right where you see I'm adding these foam board words, I'm going to use toothpicks because the strips are foam board as well, so it's going to stick in there well. So here we go. I think it turned out really cute and unique. I hope you enjoyed all of my DIYs today. Stay tuned. I should have another video posted either Friday or Saturday. I'll see y'all in the next one.
Baby, since you came around, so take. I'm gonna be myself, or I could be someone else. No one's stopping me now.